Hi there. Welcome to Aunt Angel's Reading Room again. Today we are going to read part 2 of the Courtship of Miles Standish. And part 2, the section is titled Love and Friendship. Now, do you remember yesterday where we left old Miles and John Alden? We left them in their room, in their house. And Miles was reading a book, and John Alden was writing a letter. Now, you might have noticed something very interesting about the poem last time. I wonder if you noticed it. Even though it's a poem, the lines didn't rhyme. Did you notice that? That's because, although remember what we called it? We called it a narrative poem and an epic poem. Yes, this is also written in what is called blank verse, which means that the ends of each line doesn't have to rhyme. Isn't that interesting? That sometimes there's poetry that doesn't rhyme? That's the kind of poetry this is, but it still kind of has the same rhythm that poetry does. It's supposed to anyway. If it doesn't, maybe I'm not reading it right. But it's written just like a poem. It's just that the ends don't rhyme the same. It's kind of like if we said, roses are red, violets are blue, here is a gift for my good friend. That would sound kind of funny, wouldn't it? But that's what blank verse would be like. Okay? So, anyway, we're going to go back to our poem today, and we're going to pick up right where we left them off, right where we left Miles and John in their house, one of them reading and one of them writing. And I wanted to point out to you, do you remember there was a couple times that Mr. Longfellow called John a stripling? Do you know what that word means? Maybe you looked it up last time. If you didn't, you should look it up. What do you think stripling means? Stripling actually means kind of a skinny, tall, long person. Stripling usually refers to a tree. You can refer to a person that way just to kind of give us the idea that John is young and thin and tall and kind of lanky. Okay, so we're going to hear him called that again today. All right, so here we go. The title of this section is Love and Friendship. Back to the room in the house of Miles Standish and John Alden. Nothing was heard in the room but the hurrying pen of the stripling, or an occasional sigh from the laboring heart of the captain, reading the marvelous words and the achievements of Julius Caesar. After a while he exclaimed as he smote with his hand, palm downward, heavily on the page, "A wonderful man was this Caesar. You are a writer, and I am a fighter. But here is a fellow who could both write and fight, and in both was equally skillful." Straightway answered and spake John Alden, the comely, the youthful. "Yes, he was equally skilled, as you say, with his pen and his weapons. Somewhere I have read, but where I forget, he could dictate 7 letters at once, at the same time writing his memoirs." "Truly," continued the captain, not heeding or hearing the other, "truly a wonderful man was Caius Julius Caesar. Better be first," he said, in a little Iberian village, "than be second in Rome, and I think he was right when he said it. Twice was he married before he was 20, and many times after. Battles 500 he fought, and 1,000 cities he conquered. He too fought in Flanders, as he himself has recorded. Finally he was stabbed by his friend, the orator Brutus. Now, Do you know what he did on a certain occasion in Flanders, when the rear guard of his army retreated, the front giving way too, and the immortal 12th Legion was crowded so closely together there was no room for their swords? Why, he seized a shield from a soldier, put himself straight at the head of his troops, and commanded the captains, calling on each by his name, to order forward the ensigns, then to widen the ranks and give more room for their weapons. So he won the day, the battle of something or other. That's what I always say. If you wish a thing to be well done, you must do it yourself. You must not leave it to others. All was silent again. The captain continued his reading. None was heard in the room but the hurrying pen of the stripling, writing epistles important to go next day by the Mayflower, filled with the name and the fame of the Puritan maiden Priscilla. Every sentence began or closed with the name of Priscilla, till the treacherous pen, to which he confided the secret, strove to betray it by singing and shouting the name of Priscilla. Finally, closing his book with a bang of the ponderous cover, sudden and loud as the sound of a soldier grounding his musket, thus to the young man spake Miles Standish, the captain of Plymouth. When you have finished your work, I have something important to tell you. Be not, however, in haste. I can wait. I shall not be impatient. Straightway Alden replied, as he folded the last of his letters, pushing his papers aside and giving respectful attention. Speak, for whenever you speak, I am always ready to listen, always ready to hear whatever pertains to Miles Standish. Thereupon answered the captain, embarrassed and culling his phrases. "'Tis not good for a man to be alone, say the Scriptures. This I have said before, and again and again and again I repeat it. Every hour in the day I think it and feel it and say it. Since Rose Standish died, my life has been varied, weary and dreary. Sick at heart have I been, beyond the healing of friendship. Oft in my lonely hours have I thought of the maiden Priscilla. She is alone in the world. Her father and mother and brother died in the winter together. I saw her going and coming, now to the grave of the dead, now to the bed of the dying, patient, courageous, and strong, and said to myself that if ever there were angels on earth, as there are angels in heaven, two I have seen and known, and the angel whose name is Priscilla holds in my desolate life the place which the other abandoned. Long have I cherished the thought, but never have dared to reveal it, being a coward in this, though valiant enough for the most part. Go to the damsel, Priscilla, the loveliest maiden of Plymouth. Say that a blunt old captain, a man not of words but of actions, offers his hand and his heart, the hand and the heart of a soldier. Not in these words, you know, but in short is my meaning. I am a maker of war, and not a maker of phrases. You, who are bred as a scholar, can say it in elegant language, such as you read in your books, and of the pleadings and wooing of lovers, such as you think best adapted to win the heart of a maiden." When he had spoken, John Alden, the fair-haired, taciturn stripling, all aghast at his words, surprised, embarrassed, bewildered, trying to mask his dismay by treating the subject with lightness, trying to smile and yet feeling his heart stand still in his bosom, just as a timepiece stops in a house that is stricken by lightning, thus made answer and spake, or rather stammered, then answered, Such a message as that I am sure I should mangle and mar it. If you would have it well done, I am only repeating your maxim. You must do it yourself. You must not leave it to others. But with the air of a man whom nothing can turn from his purpose, gravely shaking his head, made answer the captain of Plymouth, "Truly the maxim is good, and I do not mean to gainsay it, but we must use it discreetly and not waste powder for nothing. Now, as I said before, I was never a maker of phrases. I can march up to a fortress and summon the place to surrender, but march up to a woman with such a proposal I dare not. I am not afraid of bullets, nor shot from the mouth of a cannon, but of a thundering no, point blank from the mouth of a woman, that I confess I'm afraid of, nor am I ashamed to confess it. So you must grant my request, for you are an elegant scholar, having the graces of speech and skill in the turning of phrases." Taking the hand of his friend, who was still reluctant and doubtful, holding it long in his own and pressing it kindly, he added, "Though I have spoken thus lightly, yet deep is the feeling that prompts me. Surely you cannot refuse what I ask in the name of our friendship." Then made answer John Alden, "The name of friendship is sacred. What you demand in that name, I have not the power to deny you." So the strong will prevailed, subduing and molding the gentler. Friendship prevailed over love, and Alden went on his errand. Can you believe that? John loves Priscilla, but he's going to go ask Priscilla to marry somebody else. What do you think she'll say? Who do you think Priscilla is? I can't wait to meet her. I'll see you next time.